My guest today is Richard Neese. And Richard, we've been around the block several times a couple of years ago. What are you doing now?
So, Big Ron, I appreciate you having me on. I'm always excited to share with our community about things that are going on in the real estate market. You know, I've been a real estate broker. I started out as a real estate agent. I was Mr. Open House back in the day. I've kind of transitioned at this point. We have a company called North Alabama Restorations and Rentals. And in our company, we do fix and flip. So the flippers on HGTV, we do something, I guess, kind of similar to that. But mainly we pick up houses that are in really rough shape. We clean them up, fix them up, we turn them into rental properties. We've got properties in Coleman, Morgan, Lawrence, Jefferson, and Blount County right now, totaling close to 100, I'd say 70 or 75, somewhere in that ballpark.
Now, that brings up an interesting conversation. Is it better to rent or better to buy?
So that's a tough question because it comes back to the individual. You know, your real estate agent is going to tell you it's always better to buy, and then the guy that is the landlord's going to say it's better to rent. But what I'll say is that it's dependent upon what you want to do. If you're looking to plant roots, if you're looking to have a family and put them in the school district, put the kids in the school district and be a part of that community, it's not a bad idea to buy. There's some pros to that, which is you build equity. Some cons are that you have the deferred maintenance or maintenance on the house that you have to factor in. You know, when you buy a house, essentially it's forced savings. Mm-hmm. So every month you're paying in principal and interest, and that principal starts lowering the amount that you owe. So if you ever have a problem, something comes up, you need some extra cash, you can go to a bank and get a home equity line or something of that nature. The rental side, the good part about that is that you don't have to worry about unexpected expenses. You have to control the rest of your life, but as far as housing goes, you're not fixing a water heater, you're not fixing a plumbing leak, things like that. So you know what your expense is, and you can set back savings based off of that.
Listen, as we get older, like I am, okay, I get 35, 40 phone calls a day, people wanting to sell me insurance on my home.
Sure.
As far as appliances, water, and things of this nature. Is it worth it?
So I personally don't think that it's worth it, but I do know in some cases it can help out. Really, those folks are they're trying to help you plan by using your money to plan. If you have some discipline, which I know, especially you folks in your generation, and really most folks around here have some fiscal responsibility of setting back a little bit of money if you own the home every month. That way, if you have something that pops up, you have an emergency fund, you know, the Dave Ramsey plan of if something happened right now, would I have to borrow money to fix it? Once you have a buffer of, I'd say $2,000, $2,500 on a decent-sized home, that's going to cover most of the big-ticket items, like a deductible for insurance on a roof. If you have a water heater bust or something like that, you can pay for some of that kind of stuff. I'd say stay away from them for the most part, but there are some plans that can help you. You're paying a small monthly fee and hoping nothing happens.
Well, I was talking to one the other day, and I said, well, tell me your story. He said, because for everything except the roof. I said, suppose the plumbing bursts inside my house and floods my whole home.
Yes, sir.
He said, well, we'll fix it. I said, my plumber or your plumber? He said, we'll send an adjuster out first. That's always, that's the catch usually.
Well, that's it. And you think about when insurance started, I mean, you're talking about farmers, which most of the insurance companies started in that way. How can we protect against a bad crop? How can we pool our money? And what they're doing is they're taking the money that you put in every month and they're trying to get 10% return on it. They're trying to build off of that. At the end of the day, you can call it a scam. I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it a business model. And if you're afraid of those big items happening and you don't have the discipline to set back money, it's not a bad idea, but it's not something that I recommend for folks.
Okay. Now, you talk about rental. Is there a perfect tenant or a perfect non-tenant?
Well, you know, we like to call our folks residents, and that's because we want them to understand that we're in this together. We hope that they take care of our property the way that we would, or at least close to it. We try to take care of our folks. At North Alabama Restoration and Rentals, we have a tenant of the quarter where we give them a gift card because they have the cleanest place or they've done the things that we've asked them to do to try and keep things up. But at the end of the day, it's communication is key, and then treating things like they're theirs, like they're yours, just taking care of things on that side.
I know when I moved to Coleman back in 1982, we rented a house at first, and the landlord said, why don't you just buy it because you've done a great job. You patch the walls, you fix the leaks and
Sure.
so forth, of that nature. I said, well, I treat it like it's mine.
That's right. Well, and I think there's a landlord-tenant or a landlord-resident relationship that's important. We don't want our tenants to be out of pocket for making repairs. Mm-hmm. We're there to protect you. That's the whole point, is you trust us to keep in good condition. Now, if you go above and beyond because you want to paint the baby's room a different color or something like that, that's a different story. But what I always look at is if somebody's on Social Security, if somebody's on disability, something like that, and we vet these folks, it's supposed to be 33% of your income. It can't go over that amount. That's typically what we look at. But I want to make sure that they have a good, safe living condition. Just like if I put my mama in there, I wouldn't want her to have roaches running around. I wouldn't want to have problems with plumbing. I'm not saying we're perfect in that, but we try our best to make sure that, when I get up in front of the pearly gates, that God doesn't say, well, why did you mistreat my folks by not having a functioning plumbing system? Grandma was waiting for 5 days to use the bathroom because you didn't try and do something. I want to make sure we avoid that.
Well, that's being a good landlord, okay?
I think it's good people. So, yes, sir, I agree.
Now, I know my oldest son rented an apartment, I won't say where, and I walked in there and I said, son, you need to get in contact with the landlord. I said, there are roaches everywhere.
Sure.
And it's hard to kill roaches because they hide.
Yeah, that's right. I think the challenge, especially in apartment living, is that if you're not checking it at least on a quarterly basis, if not a monthly basis, one resident inside the house or the apartments can cause roaches for the entire place. And so I know that property owners, there are a lot of them that are bad out there, but there are a lot of them that try. But if I can't get to the property, if I can't get inside of it to know where it's coming from, or the residents in the location don't keep their food up, whatever the case might be, there has to be some give and take there. And you also have to understand that if this is the first time you're seeing it, I haven't heard about it yet, so I can't fix it. Yeah. We have pest control that comes out on our apartments on a regular basis. We expect our individual single-family homes to take care of their own pest control.
Yeah. Now, are there certain scams? I know social media says this is a good place to rent. This is not a good place to rent. Are there some scams in rental?
So what I'll say is, and I know that you're not a real big Facebooker. I see you do that kind of stuff every now and then. But on Facebook, there are a lot of scams of taking deposits before you actually see the property or before you set up an appointment. We always do an application on the front end that doesn't cost you anything, and then we meet at the property, and then we take a deposit after a second application is done with a full background. There are a lot of folks that are cash apping $150 as a deposit because they think that this 2,000 square foot home is renting for $500 a month, which is outlandish. When you start looking at that, don't give anybody any money until you've actually met them and you have a contract in front of you and you're looking to sign.
And the rental property fits your needs.
That's right. It's definitely got to fit your needs, and that's what's important. These guys that are trying to push you into something, that's a bad idea. We want to have a good resident land or property owner relationship, because at the end of the day, this is a phase in your life, whether it's the beginning phase or the end phase, and we want to have a good experience. We've been working hard with North Alabama Restoration and Rentals and doing things like I talked about with the resident of the quarter. We're also working on a scholarship that we're going to try and partner with Wallace on for one of our residents' children to get a $1,000 scholarship to go to Wallace as a way to show thank you that we're not just here taking money from people. We're trying to build a community.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as a perfect tenant?
Well, I don't know about that. I think that we all go through struggles in life. I know it's been a while since you've had a girlfriend change or a wife change. So, sometimes that will take a great family and then that put added stress. What I tell my guys on the front end that property manage is you don't know what the resident's going through at this time. And you are the person in front of them, so you have to understand that they may be going through something serious in life, and communication is the most important thing.
Well, I want to buy a series of apartments. What's the next step I take? I mean, I don't want to, but,
if you want to buy apartments, so you would definitely want to talk to a commercial broker. If you're in Coleman, I probably know what apartments you're talking about, and I can help you with that. I am a licensed real estate broker, but I mostly do investments now, and we list our own stuff with fix and flip and the rental side. The key on apartments are you have to understand that just because you have more doors doesn't mean that that's equal in profitability. The more doors that you have in one apartment complex, the more challenges you have, because you have people living wall to wall with each other. And so you may have a great tenant on one side, and you may have somebody that's going off the deep end with PTSD or drug abuse on the other side. And that's going to affect everybody inside that place. We are moving towards single-family rentals primarily, but we do have some apartments available.
Now, what's your average rent as far as longevity? Do you have a lot of people just move in and just rent forever?
So I've only been doing it for about 4 years now. As far as long-term rentals, we were in the fix and flip business before. What I'll say is that apartments and single-family homes that are standalone are different. We usually have a couple years on single-family homes, and with apartments, if we get a full 1-year term, that's a good thing.
Okay. Now, what about one thing here, Roger, you wanted to bring up? You guys manage a lot of properties and are a great resource in the community. If someone wants to see you, what you have available, should they get in contact with you personally?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, North Alabama Restorations and Rentals. Easy to find. It's easy for us to send over a link. We're also located right in front of the water tower in Bondmont, so you can stop in our office and we can let you know. You'll see the North Alabama Restoration and Rental sign right on Highway 31. We want to help folks. It's not always...
I've seen that sign driving up and down there, and I had no idea that was you.
We just moved over there, so, we were in a different location. We had Scotty Seagroves as our landlord. We had a different company before, and Scotty did great for us. We appreciated him, but we wanted to move into South Vinemont. We want to be a part of the community there, and so we've been fixing it up and building, and that's our whole thing. Like, we want to help good people get to a better place and want to clean up our community. That's what we're trying to do.
Richard Neese, I want to thank you for you. Is there a phone number or just Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook's the best route right now. We've got a property manager line number on there, but the quickest way is to go through Facebook.
Okay. Richard Neese, I want to thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.